And the worst thing is that, you know, you have a little bit of sympathy from the world for a couple of days, and now we start to retaliate. We want to get back our people, our hostages, and you can feel the tide of the press beginning to turn. Why are you retaliating? Is this a proportionate response? Are they kidding me? Proportional response? We're not there to kill for revenge. We're there to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure that is an existential threat to our country.
Welcome, Fleur. Hassan-Nahoum, you're the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem. You're also now a senior advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. You are a Jerusalemite. We are under an extraordinary situation here in the country, in the capital city. Fleur, give us your sense of what this looks like from your perspective. You've seen a lot of wars, a lot of terrorist attacks, but this doesn't seem like anything we've seen before.
Joel, just to give you perspective, I moved here with my husband in the middle of the Second Intifada, when there were buses being blown up every other week, cafes being blown up every other week, and yet this feels so much worse. And I'm not sure it's the surprise element of it, or it's the hostages, or it's the sheer cruelty of who they've taken, children, elderly, disabled, or the fact that we were just caught unawares. But this feels a lot more traumatic to me than 6 months of a protracted urban warfare that I experienced when I first moved here, and I can't explain it.
We're already over, as of today, Monday, we're over 800 Israeli casualties in 72 hours. I mean, that's more than all of the wars, at least of civilian casualties, for 30 or 40 years. By American standards, it's be more than 26,000 people in terms of the emotional impact. What are you hearing from your colleagues and from regular Israelis all over the country?
So first of all, it is the worst civilian casualty attack in the history of the State of Israel. Normally, in a war, you have 80–90% combatants as the fallen, and about 10–20% of unfortunate innocent casualties. These terrorists came to look for the innocent civilians. They are cowards. They came looking for the little children to kill and the old ladies to kill in their beds. So this is a completely different scenario. This is ISIS, Joel. This is what this is. And of course, you know, we can compare it to Pearl Harbor, 9/11, but the numbers in terms of the proportion of our size are way higher than those horrible, heinous attacks on American soil. And the worst thing is that, you know, you have a little bit of sympathy from the world for a couple of days, and now we start to retaliate. We want to get back our people, our hostages, and you can feel the tide of the press beginning to turn. Why are you retaliating? Is this a proportionate response? Are they kidding me? Proportional response? We're not there to kill for revenge. We're there to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure that is an existential threat to our country.
How would you respond then, in light of what you just said, to U.S. Secretary of State Tony Blinken, who's saying he's working with Turkey to try to find a way to bring about a ceasefire?
The only way I think at this stage Israel's going to agree to anything is if, not like previous occasions where Egypt got involved and we had a little ceasefire and they gave us a little bit of quiet for 1 year, and then the following year we had another war. This is different. This time they've gone way too far. The casualties are too high, and nothing short of the dismantling or the ejecting of the Hamas leadership, as the regime of Gaza is going to do here.
Let me take one more question with you, and I appreciate your time, especially with so much going on. On my way to the studio today, here at the TBN studios in Jerusalem, the sirens went off again, and my wife and I, and we had our son and daughter-in-law and son and her brother all in the car. We stopped. We had to tell them what to do. They haven't been here through this. You turn the car off, run, get down, put your head down, and probably 6 or 7 explosions then as the Iron Dome took out rockets headed for Jerusalem. To me, my experience here is that we've never seen this level of attack on the Capitol. As in your role as over these years as deputy mayor, how do you describe that?
So, in Jerusalem, we always felt a little safer because of the very hefty Muslim population in the city, and because, of course, of the Dome of the Rock and the Temple Mount, which, for Muslims is the third holiest site. We always were almost protected from the horrible, horrible rocket fire that has been launched on the south of the country for 15 plus years, on the center of the country, every time they get bolder. The most I remember is a one-off siren and a one-off attack a couple of years ago, and a few years before that. I do remember my children actually being on a school bus, and they did exactly what you did. They got off the bus and they crouched down and they knew what they were doing. It's horrible that kids have to know that even. But here we are. But Saturday morning, Shabbat morning, the five sirens in a row. I spend the best part of the morning with my children in our shelter, and we're lucky enough to have a shelter. And today, this is the second one today. And I don't know whether you've heard, but it hit the mosque of Abu Tor.
Oh, no, I did
And
not hear
yes,
that.
it's actually had a direct hit on the Mosque of Abu Tor now.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
very friendly with the mayor of Abu Tor. I've reached out to them. They're a wonderful village. They're friendly with Israel. They feel Israeli. I would even dare to say they feel Zionistic. And so, it's a loss.
Devastating.
But the fact that they've hit a mosque is not going to look very good in the Arab world, in the Muslim world, when they see that these rockets from Gaza can actually hit mosques and destroy mosques.
Fleur, thank you for spending time with us during this incredibly hectic and dangerous time. I also want to just thank you also. You have been a real defender of Christians. There have been a number of attacks and assaults on Christians here in Jerusalem and throughout the country. You've been a stalwart defender. You've been an outspoken advocate of stronger relations between Israel and the Christian community here in Israel and worldwide. And on that, I just want to say thank you for that. And we're praying for you, and TBN will continue to provide the fair coverage that is needed in this, as so much of the media we're going to have to expect, as you say, is going to be turning against us in the days and weeks ahead.
Don't mention it, Joel. You stand with your friends, we stand with our friends, and that's how it works.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.